Alright. Oh, radar ping off to my left. I should be fine just cranking to the right a little bit. I don't see the missile. Oh, it's in front of me. There it is. Oh, we got a notch. We gotta dive down to the deck. That missile's gonna hit me. No, come on, please. Oh, thank God. About 2 weeks ago, I decided to get a test drive for the Su-17M4 to make a video on it, and hopefully a good one. At first, I seemed a bit skeptical as despite being swing wing, this thing is still an attacker. However, God, I can't do this any longer with a straight face. Hello everybody, welcome back to the NileRed of War Thunder. This time with the Su-17M4. It was bound to happen eventually, with all the comments I get going, did you know you sound like NileRed? Which, yes, I do know that. You don't have to comment it all the time. Or do, it helps increase the engagement of the video. Anyway, let's actually pay attention to the actual plane flying on screen. The Su-17M4, despite originating from the Su-7 series of aircraft, is actually quite nimble because of the swing wing design. Now, most of the time I'm flying with the wings swept back all the way anyway, but one of the biggest weaknesses of the Su-7 was that it wasn't very maneuverable, but the swing wings make that a lot better, basically deleting the only weakness that the Su-7 series had. Combine that with an armament of 6 R-60Ms, and you have a combination for a pretty lethal fighter, even if it's designated as a strike aircraft. Going into most games, I usually just cruise around with the wing sweep at 100%, with my afterburner off until I get into my first fights. This helps me conserve a little bit of fuel, so that I can be as nimble as possible going into fights on 20 minutes of fuel. Though, that's more of a backup plan anyway. When you do have to dogfight though, like for instance raiding with 3 F5Cs, you're gonna be able to hold a candle to basically anything still. As with the wings all the way forward, you're able to hold energy very well. Combine this with a comically large amount of flares of both large and regular caliber, leaves you a very survivable aircraft, except, you know, when you're fighting half the enemy team and a no longer spotted missile hits you. The R-60M is a nasty missile in its own right, and basically the only IR missile that I unironically use in a head-on. Coming from the R-60 family, it gives it a really hard pull right off of the rails, meaning it's really good at close ranges. Combine this with a half-second arm time and much better flare resistance, and oh boy, if somebody gets a little too close or overconfident, they're dying to this missile. You know how like a minute ago I talked about how survivable this thing was because it has a lot of countermeasures? Well, if you'd like to take a peek into the top left corner of the screen, for some reason, Gaijin unequipped my flares. I don't know why, but it was not a very pleasant experience. But this is okay, we live life in the fast lane here. After killing that Tomcat, as you can see, there is nobody around. This is one of my least favorite maps for that reason. Once you kill the late spawners and the slow aircraft, it's super hard to find anybody because everybody's spread out. The moment I turn away, going in towards the middle of the battlefield, this MiG-21 BIS ends up behind me, but this is okay, as I just throw the wings forward, and as long as I can dodge his first couple of turns, I'm gonna have way more energy than this guy. In being a classic delta-winged fighter, the MiG-21 BIS is very inclined to lose speed, so I'm going a little bit vertical as well to help encourage as much speed bleed as possible. Once this guy comes down over the top and dives down to the deck, there's nothing he's going to be able to do anymore, as I'm putting my flaps out to cut my turn down and get behind him. Come on, Tomcat, I obviously didn't need help. Ugh, a classic top tier moment. I really wanted to team kill there, but I have a reputation to uphold. The nice thing about carrying 6 R-60Ms is that you have the luxury of just shooting them off at whoever you want, and typically you'll still have missiles left over. If you think there's a chance that the missile could kill somebody, you might as well just shoot it off, as it's not like you're gonna save them to go 6 for 6 on missile kills. Games just don't last that long, so you have resources to spare. The only targets I ever really hesitate on to shoot at is F5s when I'm not within shotgunning range head-on, as they have very cold engines, which means that they can sometimes even flare your missiles away with their afterburners still on. This isn't the only way to use the R60M though, as because it's maneuverable, you're able to shoot it off at weird oblique angles that people aren't really watching, because it'll still pull in for them and hit pretty reliably. The key to using the R60M is just shark attacking people, where they either don't see it coming or don't have enough time to react. In classic Tomcat fashion, he's shooting off multiple AIM-7s at me, but the moment I go to re-engage, he decides to rip his wings, so I guess I'll count that as a maneuver kill. Oh yeah, what about the guns? Well, you have NR-30s, which are some of the few aircraft autocannons left that can one-punch people. They're very satisfying to use. Now, there's this common misconception that R60s have very limited range. However, if you're going Mach, to put a little bit of momentum behind it, it can still reach out very far, just like this F-14. Never mind. I take back everything I said. Alright, ladies and gents, let's take our bets on who crashes off the runway first, because at this point in top tier, it happens in every game. If your guess was the MiG-27K, congratulations! You don't win anything. And everyone, remember to comment T46 in the comments. The F4J can be pretty scary in the head-on. Not only does it have pulse Doppler AIM-7s, but it also has the shotgun of a 20mm, but fortunately, it's not enough for the power of the R60M, and the F-14 meets the same fate. This leads me to a cluster of F4Js off to the right, feeding frenzy for the R60M. Unfortunately, I fly a little too close to the sun, and I die to an F4E. The base R60 may be a fiend for flares, but the all-aspect R60M has much greater resistance to flares in rear aspect, letting it burn through targets like the Tomcat, and still find its way straight to their engines. There's 3 more Tomcats ahead of me, and in this plane, we don't back down from a head-on. I queue up an R60M for this first guy, fire it off, but unfortunately it goes for his flares. The second guy, however, gets hit straight in the face, and the third guy decided to wing rip and kill himself into the ground. That's fine, I guess, though, as it gives me time to turn around for this Tomcat again, and Packet Loss decides it wants to start taking over my plane. At least it's dragging me up, though. Better up than down. I can always fly higher into the sky, but you can't fly lower through the ground. At least, not preferably. I'm not a fan of being inside of the dirt. The Tomcat goes down to my team, and I thought that was the last guy in the game. So I'm just kind of flying around peacefully, minding my own business, just waiting for the tickets to bleed. Ladies and gentlemen, this is an example of why it's important to read, as there was at no point a message saying there were no more enemies left in the team, and I get jump scared by this F4E. Fortunately, he doesn't have time to get out of the way of his flares. And then this other F4E ended up just getting slow in front of me, so I shoot off another missile that he doesn't even attempt to dodge. Oh man, we meet an F-104 ASA head-on, and you know how it goes. I shoot an R60M, and it actually goes for his AIM-9L. Yeah, the R60M can be used as anti-air. You're able to track and shoot down missiles with it pretty consistently, and while I wouldn't recommend it, this does mean that you have time to lock up AIM-7s that you don't have the chance to dive down to the deck for or notch the missile. Looking up, I thought that F4E was shooting AIM-54s at me, which was kind of surprising and also stupid. There's an F4E off in front of me a little to the right, and I'm going to lock him up with the R60M. God, why do people take head-ons against this missile? This is what happens when you take away the R60Ms from the MiG-23 MLD. Nobody knows how to play against them anymore. Like, if I was that F4E, I would not take that head-on unless I had a radar lock first. Or I would at least try and pre-flare a little bit so that I could get, you know, some sort of chance to evade the R60M. I feel like a broken record just talking about the R60M so much, but it goes hand in hand with this aircraft so well, as with the swing wings, you're able to just find angles to shoot these missiles off in basically any fight. It's just so good, and I'm surprised not very many people are playing it. So I highly recommend flying this thing out before the MiG-29 comes to the game, or using this as your MiG-29 grinder. That's all for this video. Thank you all so much for watching, and remember to subscribe if you liked it, as I'm trying to hit 5,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Other than that, there's the Discord server you can join if you'd like to be part of a growing community of active War Thunder players. Other than that, that's all for this video. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.